Hey, what's up? So good to see you. It's been a while. Man, we had a great conversation last week with Ingrid. Man, I love her. She's a true treasure. I'm actually talking to her husband, Wes. Yes, he's a stud. Army Ranger, commander, founder of George Washington Street Partners. He's on a board, blah, blah, blah. Google him. But man, we're going to have a good talk about racism, hate, and faith again. I just hope this conversation and his thoughts helps you to stop and be so you can process and figure out who you want to be going forward. We need you, all right? The heart is deep. You're so unique. You have to find the truth underneath. This takes some time to stop and be. How are you processing being black in America right now?
Yeah, that's a great question, and can I take a little while to answer because there's a whole lot
Absolutely.
to it. So I'm 54, and I think I may be getting close to figuring some of this stuff out. Maybe getting close because it goes in and out. So I grew up in mostly white communities. I grew up as a son of an army general, and in the military, as you know, housing is segregated, but not by race. It's segregated by rank. So all of the enlisted guys live in one place. The senior enlisted guys live in another place. All the officers live in one place. All the senior officers live in another place, and all the general officers, which my dad was, live in a completely different place. And so, as a kid, your friends are pretty much those people you can get to on a skateboard or a bike. So the people that were around me, and this is in the early '70s, there just weren't a lot of black general officers. So the kids that I grew up with in the neighborhood, they were all white kids. So that was kind of my frame of reference growing up. And in the military, yep, people see color, but the saying is everybody's green. Not exactly true green because that's the color of the uniform, but that absolutely colored the way that I viewed race. And it really wasn't until I got a little bit older and people would say things, and it's like, all right, now I'm becoming a little more race conscious. And then going to college and dating people from different races. Can I say that? Is my wife listening to? She already knows, but dating people from different races. um you realize that people don't all come at it from the same perspective. And I think that's really the key point here from all my rambling. I am unique from every other person that God's created. Everybody else is unique from every other person God's created. So I don't need to be what somebody else's expectations of me are saying I should be. I just need to be the best version of me. And so if I want to wear cowboy boots and listen to country music, why can't I do that? I don't do that often, but if I want to, why can't I? But there's some people that would say, no, I can't do that because this is the stereotype and shouldn't do that. So, yeah. So my view on race is that I was created uniquely by God, and I get to be whoever I want to be, just being the best version of me, not because somebody else is telling me that I can't do something.
I said it in intro, but I told people like to Google you. But how do you operate in a place that's mainly white? You know, being a black man.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So that's a great question. Unfortunately, still a lot of the meetings that I go to, I am the only one, or only one of several, and I think that there's some work that needs to be done to expand that. But I've always probably put a little extra pressure on myself that
Mhm.
when I'm at these meetings, I want to be a contributor. I want to, if I'm being completely honest, I want everybody to think I'm the smartest person in the room, which, again, fighting the humility. I'm probably not the smartest person in the room, but being prepared for those meetings, showing up, asking well thought out questions. Again, that could be a little bit of pressure, but I think that just goes back more to my personality and my desire for excellence in everything that I do. So, the skin color, yeah, it probably does does factor in there somehow, but I don't let it I don't let it cause me to do something or not do something. Uh, that's when I'm doing well. There are some times when I've pulled up to a country club and I'm looking around going, man, this looks just like that scene out of that movie Get Out. Somebody's gonna suck the brains out of my head. But again, that's where my mind goes.
Right.
And and so if my mind goes there, guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to be thinking about how I can,
Mm-hmm.
serve other people. I'm not even going to be able to concentrate on my golf game or enjoying the ambiance. I'm going to be in myself, and that's not a great place for me to be. So I've got little tells. I can always tell when I'm a little uptight, a little uncomfortable, and I used to get uncomfortable about race. I used to get uncomfortable about people that may have a bigger house or nicer car or appear to have more money than me or have lots of letters after their names. That stuff used to intimidate me. But really now it doesn't, because as I said, I'm 54 years old. I'm learning to be very comfortable with who I am, that I'm very unique and God created me this way. And
Cool.
that's what that's what gives me hope and what gives me strength.
Because we interviewed
Yeah,
your wife. It was awesome. If you
she-
haven't got a chance to check it out, whoever's watching this, watch Ingrid's
she's pretty awesome.
she's incredible. But she grew up in a town where there's only population says 8 people that were black. And when I told that, she was like, 8, it may have been less. So
I
she
think
didn't.
they rounded up.
So when you went to go visit her family to say, hey,
Yeah,
I'm here, I'm the boyfriend, I'm the one that wants
yeah,
to marry her, you got to
yeah.
explain that situation a little bit. How did that go? What did that feel
So not as hard as Ranger School, but I didn't want to get out of the car. I did not want to get out of the car. And you'll appreciate this. So we get there. I think we're still in college, and we go out to a bar that night. And I'm looking around. I'm looking around. I'm looking around. I'm like, oof, all right. So punch to the throat to this guy. I'm gonna kick this other guy in the shin. Wait a minute. Wait. There's an Asian guy over there. I'm safe.
if he's here, I'm all right.
No, it's that thing where like, come on, there's not even a Mexican guy. There's no color here at all. This is like Whitey McWhite. But again, that I was younger then, and so how I processed it then. I wish I had the wisdom now to just say, you know what, I just need to be myself, and because what I've found is that you can find common ground with just about
I'm sure.
everybody. And the way you do that is by engaging people in conversations
Yeah.
from a position of curiosity. And again, back then, again, I'm doing a threat assessment. I'm figuring out exactly who I need to take out first in order to be able to survive the situation. But again, all that's going on in my head. There are no threats, none,
Yeah.
not a one. And you know, again, this may not apply, but I'm a bigger guy, so that intimidates some people. So I didn't get in a lot of fights because people look at me and say, "All right, I'm not gonna mess with that guy." But there's always that one little
True.
guy. There's always that one little guy that wants to fight, and it's like, come on, man, you kind of hold him off with his head, like, come on.
I back up. You know what's funny? I was going to say, this whole racial consciousness, I appreciate it
Yeah,
big time. You can definitely tell there's more empathy. Even in my neighborhood, there was a protest, and like 95% people that were there were white. I mean, it was
yeah,
incredible to see the love
yeah,
and support. One thing I noticed, it was encouraging, but funny at the same time. Like white people have been super friendly to me. Like they're waving, walking down the street or driving. And dude, I'm a 6'3", I'm lean. I don't think I'm that intimidating. So Wes, I gotta ask you, you got
yeah,
biceps like Mike Tyson. Like you used to bench 400 plus. I mean, you're a man's man. How
yeah.
friendly has white people been towards you? Did you see them?
I think it was the weekend after everything happened with Mr. Floyd's murder. walking the dog down the street. Literally everybody on their porch came out to say hi. But it was cool because we've been here for 25 years. We know most of the neighbors. We've had conversations with them, and then one of the neighbors, on the other street, she was out with her kids, and we just had a nice conversation. I asked her, "So, what do you tell your kids about this? How do you talk to your kids?" And again, I'm just being curious, and she had a fantastic answer. We tell them to talk to us and ask us what questions they have, and this is what's right, and this is what's not right, and people are people. And I'm like, you know what? Um, I've got a lot of hope for the future of our country.
So what I want to ask, Wes, is in your pain, and I'm sure there was moments of anger, like how do you keep loving people that's different from you? Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. I think probably the easiest way to explain it is that I am uh, I am unique. Other people are unique. How I choose to view those other people without any judgment is a choice that I get to make. And so, if I wake up in the morning, which would be awkward because my wife is white, but if I
right,
wake up in the morning and I say, "Hey, all white people are evil," well, then guess what? That's coloring the way that I'm looking at everything. That's a lens that I'm putting on.
right.
And if I'm thinking that I'm gonna be tight, I'm gonna be fearful, I'm gonna be anxious, I'm gonna worry. Whenever I'm feeling like that, I'm not connecting with uh, with the best version of myself. And I'm not being the best Wes that I can be because of this fear, worry, and doubt. So I can choose to put on a different lens that says, you know what? I am grateful that I woke up this morning. I am grateful that I have a wife that loves me. I'm grateful that I have healthy kids and a beautiful granddaughter. I'm grateful that I get to live where I live. I'm grateful that I get to own my own business. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna love people the way that God loves me. And when I do that, it's hard to hate somebody when you're feeling that connection with something greater than yourself.
What would you say to business leaders and business owners or managers that want your opinion?
Yeah, so I would tell them that this is not a diversity and an inclusion issue. This is a leadership issue. As a leader, you create the leadership climate and the culture in your organization. Yes, diversity and inclusion is a part of that, but have you created an environment as a leader where your employees feel like their needs are being taken care of, that they have a safe and secure workplace, and that they can excel as far as the organization will allow them to excel. So, what other thing I tell them is have conversations, ask people how they're doing. If you're a business leader and you've got people of color in your organization, they weren't doing okay after they saw that video. Ask them how they're doing and then shut up and listen to their answer. And, a lot of my clients say, well, I'm not comfortable doing that. I don't know what to say. I just don't know how to do it. Well, you know what? That's okay. It's okay. Congratulations. That's great self awareness. You realize where you're at. But what would happen if you were just curious about your employees and you asked them how they were doing? And if they're not ready to say anything, that's okay. But you're letting them know that you care about them, because if you don't ask, I guarantee you every one of those employees is filling in that void with
Wow.
their own story. And that story is probably not going to be favorable to you as a leader or to the organization. But as a leader, if you can be curious, keep the conversation safe, and keep judgment out of it, you can talk about anything. And I've,
Wow. Wes, if
yeah,
someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to find you and get a hold of you?
Our website, gwstreetpartners.com. They can go on the website. You can schedule an appointment that way.
Wes, thank you so much for this time to talk. I love your thoughts, love your insights. You're tremendous, and best of luck to everything you do, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Lawrence. Thanks for what you're doing, man. You're moving the needle, and you're making a difference for a lot of people here. So thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. All right, brother.